Hey Flosstube, it's Laura with Laura B. Flosstube. This is probably going to be very short and sweet because my husband's been sick for the past couple days and I'm coming down with it, so I'm not sure how long my voice is going to last and I'm really not feeling that great. But hey, one of the things that I have said from the very beginning is that this is like real life stitching. This is balancing home, family, work, school, illness, everything. So I'm here, we're gonna do this. I have great news I'm gonna share at the end, and let's just jump right in with my finishes and whips. Well, finishes is gonna be short because I don't have any. I do have a lot of new starts, so that's, kind of fun. But I don't have any finishes since the last Flosstube. But my whips, I did, on the last Flosstube I mentioned I was gonna start Autumn Love, and I have gotten that started. If you follow me on Instagram, then you saw part of my start. So I've been working on the center section and the frames. So there's my start for Autumn Love. I have that whole entire center with the house and the pumpkins and the squirrels and all that good stuff done. I don't have the stars. I usually, I put that one star in there just to kind of get me a reference point of how far out to go with my borders to get those started. And I started the borders. I haven't worked on this in a couple of weeks probably now. Well, I worked on it for probably 4 or 5 days straight. I haven't worked on it for probably a week. But this is my progress on Autumn Love. Very excited about that. I'm using 28 count antique white Lugana cloth with the called for DMC, except for the house that I messed up, but it's fine, it's fine. And I did find more floss thanks to my husband that went and got it for me at Hobby Lobby. And so we are good to go on that. Rolling on. All right, so my next whip, I have progress, yay! This is the one that I keep putting off and putting off. But I've actually made some really good progress on this one now. My flags on the 4th stitch is the Quilter's American Sampler by Katie Nolan. You can find this chart in her Etsy shop, I believe, still. I should probably check that and make sure it's still there. But here is my progress on that. Oh, I got one more clip in there. Sorry about that, guys. Here we go. So I've stitched all of this since we've spoken last. And I went ahead and did the blue squares for the 6 flags that were left on this side. And now I can just do stripes. So this will give me some really good mindless stitching on nights that I want to stitch, but I don't want to count. Or, for times that maybe I don't want to have to get my pattern out and everything. This will keep me busy for quite a while, just getting those red and white stripes on those flags. And then I think that I'll probably do the same thing over here. I'll probably go ahead and do the blue squares and then do the stripes. And I feel like if I broke this down correctly, I spent 3 days basically stitching on this. 3 evenings, and I think that if I continue to do that, then I will be able to have this finished before the 4th of July, which would be amazing. That's kind of the goal. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. It's not the end of the world, but that's kind of the goal. Let me... Oops! I just dumped everything. Telling you, I'm not really on top of my game tonight, guys, but we'll get there. Just give me 1 minute. Okay, my other start is Peppermint Lane. It's by Pansy Patch. Quilting and Stitching, I believe. Fat Quarter Shop is doing a stitch along. The design is by Lori Pengelly. And so this is my progress on the first house. And yes, it's in the frame crooked, the hoop crooked. It's fine. I can still stitch straight lines on a crooked. It's fine. My husband was quite concerned about that. I do want to point out, I got one of these new to me, frames by Nerge. Now, I know Fat Quarter Shop is selling these. I got mine on Amazon, but it's a Nerge. Make sure it's Nerge brand. They are really cool. I mean, my cloth does not move in this frame. Now, I did decide to go ahead and stitch this as one big stitch. This is a great big giant piece of cloth. I am stitching on 18 count Aida cloth, with the called for DMC. This is kind of crinkled down here, but it'll iron out. It'll be fine. Yeah, one thread over one square. I know someone mentioned on Instagram that I was getting good coverage with my one strand. I would say that with DMC, if you're not feeling like you're getting good coverage with the one strand over one on 18 count, to try to consciously adjust your tension. You might be pulling a little too tight. I tend to pull tight as well, so there is no judgment here. But that's what I would say is if you're feeling like you're not getting good coverage with the one strand over one on 18 count, kind of adjust your tension and pay close attention to your tension and just basically how tight you're pulling your thread. But those Nurge hoops are really cool, and they come in a few different sizes. That is their small. It's a number 2. I've also ordered, I might have a couple number 1 hoops from Nurge. I haven't tried those out yet, but I'm assuming they'll be the same results. I did get a number 3, which is one size bigger, and it was too big. I think it would be great if you did like, the stick and stab from above and below for your stitching. I use the sewing method. So for me, the number 2 is as big as I want to go. Okay, so I've put off the 2017 Prairie Schooler Santa. That was supposed to have started. I was supposed to start stitching on it Sunday, but I've really enjoyed Peppermint Lane, so I just decided it's fine. So I'm going to continue stitching on Peppermint Lane tonight, but tomorrow is February 1st. So that means I will be doing a PinkerNPunkin quilting salt box. The salt box that I am doing for February is Elizabeth Hartline's salt box. And here are my color conversions. And I am using Anchor Floss for this design. And here are the colors I'm using. So you can take a screenshot of that if you're interested. And last time I was like so excited. I was going to show you my cloth. Pulled it out and I had not dyed it yet. Whoopsie. So here is the cloth I dyed. And this is a 28 count Lugana. It started as the antique white Lugana, and I dyed it with evening rose and what else? Nope, I'm sorry. I dyed this with, evening rose. No, light pink. It was rose. Rose quartz. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Rose quartz and tan. And basically just scrunched it in the containers, spooned some dye over it, unscrunched, and spooned some more and let it soak for a little bit and then took it back out. So I'm really excited about that. And this is going to be, I'm going to use this Nurge number 1 hoop to stitch this just to see if I like it more than the spring hoops that I've used on the past couple salt boxes that I've done. So if you're doing my PinkerNPunkin quilting salt box stitch along, make sure you use the hashtag on your Instagram posts, and I would love to see what you're stitching. I know I've had a couple people tag me on Instagram, and that's awesome. Feel free to do that. I would love to see your progress on your salt boxes. And obviously, if you pick different ones, I'd love to see what you're stitching too. It doesn't have to be what I picked. So anything from Melissa is amazing. And those are typically my first 3 to 5 days of the month, depending on how much stitching time I get in. All right. So that is all the stitchy talk. I told you, short and sweet and to the point tonight because I'm not sure about my voice and I'm not feeling the greatest. So I apologize if you're hearing sniffling and coughing and raspy voices, but that's just where I'm at. Quilting update. I did start the Calico Garden quilt along. It's Lori Holt's Calico Garden. I did purchase the kit through Fat Quarter Shop. This was week 1, the cone flowers. They're super cute. And I do have those. Those are machine appliqued. And I cut them down to the 8.5 inch square after I did the applique on those. So those are ready to go into the quilt. The other thing that was week 1 was the 23 star flower blocks. And I do have the numbers pinned to them so I don't lose track. I don't have the applique circles in the middle. I only have 3. I have 3 completed. 3. That's all I have done there. So I have 20 more to go, but that's okay. Cause I mean, I can just do a few of those a week, for the next few weeks and be done with those. The sew along is 19 weeks long, and there's a breakdown in the cutting guide of what you're doing each week. I posted some pictures on in the Facebook group, the Be in My Bonnet Sew Along Facebook group, of just kind of how I organize for sew alongs with Lori Holt. I trace out all my shapes on the interfacing in advance, and then I bag up I do all the cutting in advance too, based on the cutting guide. And then I bag those up by the week of the sew along, where those blocks are going to fall. And so then when the week comes along, I just grab the bag and check her blog for the interfacing shapes I need, cut those out of the interfacing that I have prepared, and sew them up. If I don't have time to sew them up, then I just put the interfacing pieces in the bag, and then when I have time, they're ready for me. So I don't buy the Aurifil threads that she uses to do like a complete match on her threads and fabrics. I typically use whatever thread I have on hand. A lot of times it's dual duty, and I do a close match, basically just, laying the thread on the fabric and going, oh, that looks good, and moving on from there. So that's kind of where I'm at with Calico Gardens. Super excited to get that quilt done. So yeah, I did go to my brother's last weekend and quilted 6 quilts. None of those are done because, like I said, my husband's been sick and I haven't been feeling the greatest either. So none of those have binding on them yet. So I'll probably share those next time. Hopefully by the next Flosstube in 2 weeks, I'll have those with binding on them, and I can share what those look like in pictures of the finished quilts. Yay! Additional quilt news. I do support the Angel Wings clothing closet in Mexico, Missouri. I've been collecting quilts for their Easter basket project. Just want to do a couple shout outs. My amazing neighbor, Pam, donated quilts that her grandmother had made. So I did a bunch of cutting down and rebinding of those quilts. So here's some pictures of those. Ended up with 10 quilts from her grandma's collection. So that's amazing. That really helps me meet my goal. And then my brother had 13 quilts that he had ready for me to pick up Saturday as well. So here's the, tote of quilts from him. So amazing, amazing support. And I really appreciate everyone's involvement and energy that goes into making all those quilts for Angel Wings each year. So let's see. Okay, so the big news is that, yes, we are over 600 subscribers. I did not grab those project bags. Hang on. Okay, so a couple Flosstubes ago, I told you that once I reached 600 subscribers for my channel, that I would give away a project bag and clutch. So here is option number 1. We're over 600, by the way. We're at 618. So what you're going to do is you're going to comment on this video by February 13th. It's a Monday of 2023. And you're going to tell me if you want 1 or 2, number 1 or number 2 project bag, and how you found me, and what your favorite cross stitch pattern is. So that's what you're going to answer. And leave me a question for next time. Since this one's so short, leave me some questions and I'll try to answer those next time. So here's project bag 1. Here's the front and the back. Here's the clutch inside. Has a nice little pocket over here, and this is a fleece, so it won't get all yucky on you. I put a magnet in here for my needle minder. So that's project bag 1 or project bag 2. And I will mail this anywhere in the continental US. I'm sorry if you're in Alaska or Hawaii, the shipping's just gonna kill me. So here's project bag 2. And the clutch that goes with it. Oops, upside down. And a little pocket. So let me know in a comment below if you want project bag 1 or 2. and tell me, what did I say? Tell me how you found me and your favorite stitch. And that is all you have to do to be entered. By Monday, February 13th, 2023, we'll say by midnight. As long as the timestamp is February 13th, then you're in, because I'll do the drawing on the 14th and post it in my next Flosstube on February 14th. Yes, that is Valentine's Day, but there will be a Flosstube. So I will see you next time, hopefully sounding a lot better and looking a lot better. Until then, have a great time stitching, find something that you enjoy, and stay well, because this is no fun. All right, see you next time. Bye.